All right, this is my full recap after my first ever 3-day fast. Do my best to keep it as brief and to the point as possible. I feel basically back at 100% today. I think tomorrow I'll fully feel back at 100%. I guess 3 a.m. this morning would have been fully 24 hours after the fast. So 3 a.m. the following day, and then I had all day yesterday, and then 3 a.m. today would be 24 hours from the end, and then of the fast, and then I had all day today, I guess, or whatever. It's 109. So basically, I weighed myself today, and I was 184. I believe at the start of the fast, I was 193. So that's 6 plus 3, so 9 pounds. I worked out on the first day of the fast. I worked not Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday was the first day of the fast. And I got 10,000 steps all 3 days. So I'm grateful for the experience. I'm going to try to highlight a couple things I guess I didn't say in the last 3 videos or 4 videos or whatever. So basically, from a weight loss perspective, yes, it works. Is it like the best way to go about it? Probably not. It's not sustainable. I don't think I'd recommend someone to do it cold turkey. I think, like I said previously, I'd recommend easing their people into it. For example, today I actually need to update my thing, but I did a 13-hour fast. So I worked yesterday. Before work, I broke my fast at 3 a.m. with bone broth and macadamia nuts, and then I might have had a hard-boiled egg, and then I woke up, had a hard-boiled egg and an avocado, and then went to work. I had an almond milk latte and just like cooked piece of salmon from Creation on my break at work, and then I treated myself to a steak. I got a fillet. Just because I was proud of doing something I'd never done before. So I got home, I ate that. I hit about 1,800, 1,900 calories for my full day, including that 3 a.m. bone broth and everything. So that full day after fast yesterday, I hit about 1,900 calories. I did not work out, although I think I hit 10,000 steps, and I did go to work, and I just felt better overall yesterday. Feel even better today. Was excited to get to the gym. Went to the gym, took it easy. I didn't want to go too hard. Did more like stretching and yoga than weights today. But I also have work tonight, so I will probably hit 10,000 steps again. But yeah, I once I hit 12 last night, I ate a bunch. So I ate about 1,500 calories. So like I said, I ended yesterday at about 1,900 calories. And then already for today, just from like midnight to like 1 a.m., I ate about 1,500 calories. I had like 2 bags of Quest protein chips. I had a bag of popcorn. So I believe my theory is I went out of ketosis around that time. I think I was in ketosis all day yesterday. But because I ate like 3,000 calories last night, technically, or I guess yesterday and last night, I was not expecting to be lower on the scale. I was 186 yesterday or whatever. So obviously it's going to fluctuate. I was just talking to my friend about this. Like, you can't be attached to the scale or let it affect your mood, but I haven't seen that number in months. Potentially like a year. Honestly, I wasn't tracking for a long time, so it's hard to know, but it feels good. That feels good. I'm really proud of that. And I think my plan going forward to stay in a weight loss progress, lean out, continue to build muscle, is hit the gym at least 5 days a week, 5 to 6 days, 5 to 7 days a week realistically, plus 4 to 5 shifts at a restaurant on my feet, carrying stuff and getting my 10,000 steps, walking my dog twice a day. And then trying to stay below around 2,000 calories a day, 18 to 2,000. I'm okay if I go over. It's not the end of the world, but especially if I like have a bunch of workout or whatever, like whatever the day is. But I also feel more capable of hitting that number now because of the fast. So, for example, I hit 1,500 calories last night. I have about 300 left to hit 1,800. I can go over, but I have a protein shake coffee, so there's 30 grams in here. And I'll have a 45-gram protein bar later, the Musashi protein bars, which is 320 calories, and this is like 170. So that's like 400 calories, which will get me right around 1,800. I think I can just do that for the day. You know, I woke up around 10, and so because I've done a 3-day fast, so I know I can do a whole day with no food. I should be able to do a whole day with a coffee, 30-gram protein shake, and a protein bar. Obviously, ideally, I'm eating whole foods. Maybe I'll have a, you know, an avocado. But, like, I feel very confident in continuing to lose weight being the goal, cutting the calories. Obviously, whole foods are ideal, and I just kind of splurged. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. And granted, my splurge was, like, you know, it wasn't like it was a bag of popcorn was probably the worst thing, and it was like the skinny pop with butter because I'm trying to stay in keto or get back to keto as quick as possible because I think that's when I'm going to burn the most fat is my theory, which is partly why I think I was at 184 today, is because I was continuing to burn fat. So I don't know. But very grateful. Honestly, highly recommend it. I think there's a world where I do it once a month, once a quarter, once a year for sure. The hardest part, I would say, is going to be the fatigue and the stamina loss. I think, like, there's no way around that. You know, there's a lot of videos. I would watch a lot of videos. I would do my research beyond this. This is not, I mean, maybe this is research too, I guess, because I've done it. But I would, like, listen to some doctors online. Also, like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not advising anyone to do anything. I don't know your medical conditions or whatever, but yeah, I was lucky. I had a couple easier days at work. I had 1 4-hour shift, which I've never had in the history of work, so that worked out for me. But and I watched a few movies, so you know, it's a balance of taking it easy. You don't want to take it so easy to where, you know, you want to keep moving, but you don't want to overexert yourself. So it's really about, like, finding a balance during your time not eating food where your body is just adjusting. There's less adjustment that needs to happen if you ease into it, eating high protein and predominantly, like, low carbs, because then you quickly get out of your glycogen store. You quickly switch out of burning carbs and sugars to fats much quicker than if you are eating a fuck ton of carbs as your norm and then you fast. It's like gonna take you longer. And then also that switch is where people feel the lowest energy because your body's switching energy fuels. So I feel great now, honestly. And I think that there may be some of those benefits I was able to access from cell regeneration and maybe stem cells and, you know, killing off the cancer cells and whatever other bullshit was inside of me, detoxing a lot of that out because I was really just drinking water, you know, electrolytes. Occasionally, I think I had a coffee once or twice. I had a matcha twice. So that was one thing I didn't anticipate, is if I were to do it again, I would not have... Some dude I watched recommended this fucking sweet matcha thing, and I think that fucked me every time I had it. Maybe it was for the better that I had diarrhea. I probably went to the bathroom, both 1 and 2, but 1 probably like at least once an hour. You know, I would wake up 2-3 times in the middle of the night, at least the first night or the second night, I don't remember. I also remember, like, the second day it felt a lot harder. Like, the anticipation of the third day it was like, I don't know, that mental clarity, I don't know if I really ever got there. I feel like I felt more drunk than, like, alert and sharp. but I also feel like, you know, it's not a state my body's used to. My body's used to, in the history of my body's existence, being in a surplus of calories, i.e. fat, overweight. It's just the reality, you know? And so to take it to the opposite extreme of having an abundance of food coming in, which is why I think I kind of binged last night. You know, like I said, I'm not mad at it because, well, the steak was a treat, but also I think like, I think it was a few things. One, I think it's a habit. I get home from work and I tend to eat. Even though I track all that stuff, it can get tricky too, because especially if I'm cutting into the next day's calories allotment, you know, I only have so many calories left, which I'm capable of doing, but like, is that sustainable to have a protein shake and a protein bar every day and just binging at night? So I think like going forward, a lesson for me was like, okay, let's be a little bit more intentional. We're able to go to work and not eat all day and after work. Let's try to be more intentional about what we're eating and how we're eating after work, you know? And I think that whether it's work for you or stress moments, you know, it's whatever those moments are where we cling to food, just trying to be a little bit more intentional about how we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating, all that. So I'm super grateful for this experience. I highly recommend it. Obviously I'm just coming out of it, so like the thought of going back into it right now doesn't sound great, but like I said, last night I did about a 12-hour fast. So, and there's 24 hours in the day. So I think that's realistic, is like cutting off food at a certain time and then not eating till a certain time, doing some intermittent fasting. I think the benefit there is your caloric intake window is minimized. So you're going to eat less by nature of having less time to eat. Ideally, I think that's the main benefit realistically, but there's a lot more to learn. I think self-awareness is key. You know, if I ever felt like I'm really about to faint, there was one time when I woke up in the middle of the night to pee, and I just think my body, you know, I hadn't eaten all day. My body wasn't used to that. I don't think I'd ever fasted for that long. And I think I woke up sweaty, and also just, so I don't think I had like electrolytes. I think I had like depleted everything. So yeah. But yeah, I would have, if I could do it again, I would avoid the number 2 bathrooms, because that was annoying. And it's like, there's only so many times you can wipe your fucking ass, especially when you're not shitting anything solid. Sorry to be vulgar, but that's just the reality. So I would, you know, the peeing is fine. It's like, you gotta do, but flushing it out, I would try to be a little bit more dialed in, less flavored stuff. I'd try to just do lemon and electrolytes and water. I'd probably cut the flavored electrolytes. I think that my body, I'll speak for myself, is more able to adapt, but it's so sensitive to everything that you consume when there's nothing there. So I think like the sweet matcha, the fake sugar, the sucralose or whatever the fuck it was, like just fucked my system. And then I took a Pepto, which I think, like, you know, obviously I had no food either, so it was, I don't know what was going on there, but feeling great, honestly, feeling grateful. I think that was one benefit I didn't anticipate. It's like my perspective, I guess. It's just, I feel very grateful. I feel grateful for food and the food that I have, and I feel like I'm more intentional, and I want to be more intentional, and I want to continue the thoughtfulness and the self-awareness going forward. You know, does that mean I'll never have a cheeseburger again or like a dessert? No, like I want to enjoy things, but I also am enjoying the process of this health journey, right? Like I'm not just craving short-term dopamine, although I am, you know, I still get binging these freaking Instagram videos of like how to make healthy, low calorie, low carb, high protein meals of delicious shit. Like, I think that's exciting to me. It's like, how can I make an ice cream that's high protein, low calorie? I just want to scratch the itch. I don't actually need 800 calorie Haagen-Dazs or whatever. Like that doesn't sound good to me. It's just the taste of ice cream, you know? So how can I you know, buffalo chicken quesadilla, low carb tortillas, you know, shredded cheese, shredded chicken, low cal buffalo sauce, low cal ranch, like high protein, relatively low calorie, low carb. Like it's making meals like that, filling up on that kind of stuff. So, peace.